Hey, hello there, everybody, and welcome back to MegaMan Legends 2, Part 15. In this one, we're going to be going into my least favorite spot in the game, and I think it's just kind of generally seen as the worst one. The Nino Island ruins. They are underwater, everything is slow as heck. There are a whole bunch of fish enemies that just they torpedo at you at max speed when you're in slow motion. So it's not a fun time. Make sure that I've got my I don't remember if it's the jet skates. There's the hydro jets. I gotta equip the hydro jets for when I go in there. I bought the padded armor Omega just because it's the padded armor, but it also helps against knockback. And I don't know if the next one appears unless I buy that one. I'm just making sure. After developing the new plug, I can have a new buster part equipped. You don't need to worry about energy or rapid in this game because of the firing glitch. I try not to use it all that much, but with those guys with the shields, it's so helpful to just get rid of them immediately by firing at them that way. You know, you got the Nino Town music. It's all inspiring and everything. Dun, 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 dun. So I'm gonna just yeet myself down this hole.
The second key is in here somewhere. Be careful, Mega Man. Don't rush things. This is a really complex structure. Be careful you don't get lost.
So for completion's sake, I should bring in the drill. There's, I think, 3 walls you can take down with places behind them. But I hate this place so much. It's when I come back to playing this game for fun, I basically just stop before I get here, which is really sad because like the rest of the game is good. Everything before this and everything after I enjoy. It's so slow here. Basically just having to stand still as certain enemies like torpedo their way at you because you move in slow-mo, but they're fish, so they don't
like
once you get to the water.
I'm not picking up any Reaver bots.
It is also insulting that she tells you that she doesn't pick up any Reaver bots as I get slammed by one of these like little crocodile crawling things on the ground. I'm not sure what they are. I don't sense any Reaver bots. Ugh. Well, I'm getting eaten by one right now. That life force that you see isn't mine, it's its. And while a lot of this might look somewhat complicated, most rooms only have one way in and one way out. This room demonstrates part of why I dislike this.
Above you, but it's too high for you to jump to. Look around and see if there's anything you could climb on.
Those platforms that you have to jump up to get to the door that's all the way up there. This game is not made for you to, like, turn 180 and then jump up something and then turn 180 and jump up again.
That's really high. Too high for you to jump. If there was something around there you could stand on, maybe you could get over it.
I'm not really sure what happened here, but I noticed that my recording software stalled for a bit. So this is not in the editing. I looked over at my recording software and it randomly said that I dropped like 1,000 frames for no reason. All you missed there was I went through a door and I went up an elevator. I don't know why I just randomly had that massive amount of dropped frames. I think my antivirus was doing something in that moment. It should not be something that happens frequently.
Maybe something's changed now that this area is filled with water. Since things are lighter in water, you can pick up things you weren't able to before.
So, as she says, I can pick up things that I couldn't have before. I already knew I wouldn't be able to move these blocks, so I didn't even attempt it before I filled it with water. You stack 2 of these blocks on top of each other, and then in the water you can make the jump over that huge step that we saw earlier. And you see that because I'm in the water, it automatically took off the jet skates, but it didn't equip the hydro jets, so I have to do that myself. So this one, and then there's another one. But I really dislike trying to jump on things in here too. Like, you basically have to go straight up to it, and then stop, and lightly tap the button after you jump, or else you just glide. And I dislike losing that much control of my character as I'm moving around. So that wall, also, directly behind me now, is a drillable wall from the look of it. There's stuff back there, I would assume. I don't want to be here long enough to find out what it is. No offense to people, but just not in the Nino dungeon. Just no. Once you beat it, all of the water is drained, I believe. I'm not sure if you can get back once all the water is drained. I might come back afterwards and drill down the walls once I'm less frustrated with this place. And those enemies are very irritating here because of how slowly you move. They will always catch up to you if you don't blow them up immediately. And they do like placing those everywhere. And we haven't gotten to them yet, but there's some, like, red fish enemies. They die in one hit, but they will absolutely torpedo their way towards you. And there's never just one in a room. So when you enter a room and you have those red fish torpedoing towards you, you need to shoot down, like, 8 or 9 of them, or else you're gonna get hit. So just expect to get hit, because Mega Man doesn't change targets that fast. At various elevators, when you get to the next floor, whether it be up or down, because some of them go up, some of them go down, you will sometimes end up in a room with a control panel for the water. And it'll specifically say, like, this controls the water in this floor. Would you like to fill or flood this floor, depending on whether or not there's already water there. Because I am looking around, and I do walk by a spot, and then I realize a bit later, oh wait, I must have missed something. I'm pretty sure there was supposed to be another door there, but I'd already drained the water, so I had to go back and fill it with water again so I could get to the door. These guys, these are terrible. They die in one hit. There's a ton of them everywhere. The camera doesn't want to cooperate with you. Even when you're closer to certain ones, it'll just target something random. I don't know. I don't understand the lock-on for this game yet, even though I'm replaying it for like the 4th or 5th time. But there are honestly points in this where I enter a room and I know that there's a bunch of those in there, so I just stop, lock on, and start firing. I just let them run into me until I've killed a few of them at least. Because I will have points where I am at a door and I have like 9 or 10 of them just swarm directly at me at the door, and at that point, what am I gonna do? I wait to get knocked down, and then I have my invincibility frames while I attack them. And that's about all I can handle at that point. Download the data for the items, and now when I open up my mini-map, it'll show me little blips on my map for where items are. And then once I get the map downloaded, oh, I also unflooded this this room or this floor, so it was going to have like water jets there earlier, and I could pick up that block and put it on the button and get rid of that. But this is coming up to a boss room, and the boss is significantly easier when you get rid of the water. Also, these guys would normally be swimming around. They're just bigger of those red fish. If you start attacking them, they will torpedo at you. I put my homing missile back on. So I believe it's the next room. There's like these 4...
They're big ones too. Be careful.
Yeah, these 4 or the 3. I don't even know how to describe them. They're just like these weird ball things that have 4 flaps. And when they have the water, they will go between being vulnerable and invulnerable while also shooting out those pellets. And they start spinning at different rates, and as they spin faster, they become invincible to anything you can do to them. But without the water, for whatever reason, all they do is spit out the like pollen things they're spitting out of the top, and all I gotta do is circle strafe and shoot them. There's no mechanics in this fight when there's no water for some reason. So just kill them, smiley face. It's quite literally that simple. Just circle strafe and keep firing at them. With the water on, there's always 2 of them that are invincible and 1 that is not. So you just have to figure out via how fast they're spinning which one to target. And these guys drop a key, though I don't actually know what the key is for.
I'm reading what looks like a key, Mega Man. Do you see it?
Like, I don't remember needing this water key for anything. Maybe it's because I didn't bring the drill. And so I'm gonna be going this way. There's a wall up here. This one I cannot go over without the water in this room. So I actually need to backtrack and put the water back in the room. So I am going to just 3 times speed this until I get back to here, because this took me like 6 minutes, so even at 3 times speed, it's a couple of minutes going back, get into that room, refilling that room with water. The sad part is that I think it took me like 30 seconds to get there, but it takes me so much longer to get back just because of the water. The slow movement from the water, the fact that for some reason the enemies are back once I fill it with water, which makes no sense to me. They don't come back when there's no water, but then I fill it with water and suddenly the like giant fish in the next room are back. And I keep trying to walk up to bricks and picking them up with my special weapon on. But you see, she didn't say that the first time, because I made them just flop all over the ground. 4 medium-sized Reaver bots. I think they have platforms on their back you might be able to jump on if you were really careful. But I started firing. I just want to get rid of them. I just want to go to the next room. And then I gotta clear out all those little guys in the next room again. I quite literally just, I entered that room with the lock-on button held down and went to start firing. Now I gotta stack both of the blocks on top of each other again, which I absolutely hate, and I hit myself in the face a couple of times. Like, I didn't find it painful the first time, but for some reason, this time when I try to throw it on top of the other one, it just hits me unless I jump. I'm like, get on there. Get on there. Why is it landing on me? Then I do the light tap on the jump and throw it, and it looks like I almost threw it over it. So, I don't quite understand, like, why the first time I had to throw one on top of the other one, it worked. And that one is just like, nah, you hit yourself in the face with a box. I'm like, what do you mean I hit myself in the face with the box? That's kind of stupid. It would make it slightly better here if there was some more enemy variety, or just didn't have things that absolutely torpedo themselves at you. Just give me some time to respond to there being enemies, or not so many of the fish that torpedo at you, the weird things that crawl on the ground that they don't move super fast, but they still move faster than you can. And the exploding ones that float around. And in the water, these guys are just kind of annoying. And I want to stop seeing the guys with the shields. Just stop putting them in the game. I don't want to deal with those anymore. Just having something that's normally sitting in front of a door that I can't hit unless I shoot it with my rockets instead of with my gun. It's
looks like
not a
there's
great
a door to
mechanic.
another room high on the wall there too. Do you see anything to stand on?
So I don't know if you saw it, but I kind of saw it as I came in. I could get to this hole in the wall by jumping instead of just falling. But this one doesn't have anything in it. There's like 4 of these in this room, I think. And they do put a singular box on the floor, I believe, which makes it just tall enough for you to jump up, and god damn, I hate these things. But I don't know why they even, like, what's the point of having the box? There's one box, there's like 4 places I can jump up. All I gotta do is move the box to the part of the floor that lets me jump to that hole in the wall. So why not just let me jump to the hole in the wall? Why make me move the box and then jump on the box? And again, I absolutely despise these platforms you have to jump up to make it to the top of the floor so you can get out that door. Those things, I just, they're like the bane of my freaking existence. Sometimes I go to turn around, and for some reason MegaMan just keeps walking. You go to jump up on them, and MegaMan does the small jump instead of the high jump, and you miss it. It's just a mess. I believe that one has nothing in it either. So, it is empty, and it's kind of just a waste of your time. Just, I don't know why it's there. What is the point? But I did miss that one on the corner that I will have to come back to so that I can get to the... I want to say the boss is behind that door, and I'm just being stupid by overlooking it. So I'll be speeding this up again because I unfill this room with water. I make my way up those platforms, which I'm kind of upset that I did that and I didn't have to. And then I was like, wait a second. There was that spot that I missed. So even though I'm speeding this up and I go up those platforms, I am cutting away after this a couple of minutes of me pondering about why I'm missing something. I like take some time to look at my mini-map, and then I realize, oh wait, there was actually like that hole in the wall over there, and then there's a door behind it, I believe. So I absolutely hate this. I'm so sad that I did that to myself. So here's where I'm like, oh yeah, there's that spot down there. Can I make it from over here? Nah, I gotta raise the water again so that I can make it to that one. Because that is where progress is, sadly, after missing it. And while looking at the map there, the reason it took so long, and it was probably like 2 or 3 minutes of me going through the floors looking at the maps, is almost entirely because of missing the drill. They're very large portions now that I have the map downloaded, where if you had the drill, you get back there and there's items and there's doors and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't want to go back up and like get the drill and deal with that. I didn't want to come down and deal with that not having an actual weapon, because that's kind of the issue with the early MegaMan Legends games, is you either get to have a weapon or you get to have the drill so that you can fully explore places. And in Legends 1, the Buster is good enough for almost everything. You really don't need to bring a secondary weapon. But in Legends 2, you absolutely want to have like your homing missiles or your powered Buster or whatever to deal with certain things, because the lock-on just isn't good enough. Back into this room, and of course, they're gonna charge directly into me. This is where I'm just like, I just hold down the lock-on and fire. It is not worth trying to move around to not get hit, because it's gonna happen. There's too many of them. Gotta go pick up this block and move it into the correct corner this time. I wish that the camera was just slightly higher normally. I wouldn't have missed that if the camera was aimed just a little bit higher, if like the POV was just a little bit wider. So, we have entered new territory. This guy is trying to shoot his flamethrower underwater. I'm not entirely sure why it just creates bubbles. Whatever. And it is one of the few times, again, against those guys, I will abuse that firing bug, because I don't think they're worth my time to just sit there, maybe hit them twice, and have them put their shield back up and then have to wait for it. And with my hydro jets, I can just zoom past those guys.
There's a door really high up on the wall, MegaMan, just above where you came in. It's so high, you won't even be able to climb up there. So, how do you get in?
Now, I don't do a ton of exploring in here. I don't actually recall how you get into that door that she is referring to. Possibly if I enjoyed these dungeons, like the Nino Ruins specifically more, I would remember little details like that.
I never would have thought there'd be a place like this here. MegaMan, there's a giant reaver bot in the middle of that area. Huh? It doesn't look like it's going to attack you, though. Hey, I've got an idea. Why don't you try jumping on that reaver bot's back?
And here I am going to cut away some. The way this jumping works, when it's turned, it is significantly harder to jump up. Your character will like hover for a little while as you're jumping instead of actually leaving its back. And I don't know what causes that. It has some weird collision, but I attempt to make it onto some of these platforms like 3 times because it tilts slightly, and then I go for the jump, and Mega Man's foot like gets caught on it as it's turning.
On my scanner, I can see what looks like a key on top of it. Can you see it?
So I'm just cutting to the first successful jump. I get up here, and you get the water key too. And then I'm going to cut as I'm leaving to the second successful jump. You see that right there, Mega Man's foot gets caught, but I don't fall completely off. And I'm trying to aim this so he grabs. And I get up there. This one is really hard to get because it tilts so hard, but this is just money. I was kind of sad about that because I rode around on that fish's back for way too long trying to get up here to see what that item was because I don't remember what it was. And it just ended up being 20,000 zenny. I could have just gone and farmed that. I'm back up to 500k. I went up to a mill and I bought some stuff. But, yeah, that just being money is kind of a disappointment. I was hoping it was something more valuable. Just Buster parts or something. So I think it's 1 or 2 doors in. I'm gonna get to the next boss fight. And, you know, for some reason, just Data's there. You're going towards a boss room, Data's just there. However, he always ends up there, I don't know. Just, here he is dancing. How you got here before I did, there's no explanation for. He's just here. Oh, I've also noticed sometimes it might just be some weird PS3 glitch. I have a few times where I go to save, and it says there's
like
no memory card.
In the room at the end of this passageway.
Which, please explain to me how there's no memory card when I'm on a PS3 and it has a virtual memory card.
You did it!
I don't believe it. Bola lost to a little punk like you? Ha! If you think I'm a pushover like Bola, you've got another thing coming to you. I work for a living. I don't hold back, ever. Not even if I have to fight a little kid like you. You're not getting past me. Not as long as you have that key. If you aren't going to hand it over nicely, I'll just have to take it from you.
So, Claymore is kind of a pushover. He has this slightly varying pattern of shooting his machine gun, which would require you to strafe left and then strafe right instead of just constantly strafing left and constantly strafing right. I think you'd also do it with a jump if you time it right. But in this fight, as far as I can tell, that's basically all he really does. I just go left and right, firing my Buster gun. You see, sometimes when I stop, he'll shoot slightly past me because he's trying to predict where I'm going to be by the stop. Yeah, that's basically this fight. I could have used my homing missiles to make it somewhat faster. I have no idea what those are or what they do. I think they're just following me, but it doesn't really matter with how fast you died.
Not bad for a kid. You're not such a pushover. I haven't had this much fun in a long time. You wait. I'll be back.
and I'm not entirely sure why they ever, float away or walk away or anything like that. They seem to teleport everywhere just fine. Except for in cutscenes where they need to tell you off or something. Then they just kind of float away slowly, or I don't think they ever actually walk anywhere. I guess sometimes you see Claymore waddle away. Which, again, just teleport like 5 feet in front of you, bro. It just looks cleaner. It probably takes less effort than you waddling around in that armor. But yeah, you can see that all the water is gone now. I believe it's this way throughout the entirety of Nino Ruins now as I'm heading out. But since all I've got in front of me right now is these jumping puzzles, I guess you could call them that. Just getting up these platforms is basically the entirety of me leaving. I'm just gonna speed this up because there's no point in watching me fail at this for like 7 or 8 minutes. That one didn't really do anything to me. I was just seeing, they have those things there, you can target them. I think you're supposed to use them somehow to get to the other side, since they're set up that way, and they're like, it's right about the height where you entered the room. Took those as slowly as possible to try and make sure I didn't fall again. Luckily, those guys who explode are looking the other way. Past that wall that you could enter with the drill. I don't know why it always lets you target things that are behind a wall. That's something that they maybe should have looked at beforehand. Again, most of these only have one way in, one way out, but I believe I go the wrong way in one, just because, partially because I'm assuming that, and because I don't see the other side of the circle right here. I go up to that switch, and I'm like, oh wait, that was the wrong one. I gotta go out of here and make a left. Right now I'm just like, get me out of here. I have the key, just let me leave. Because without speeding anything up, without cutting anything out, this was like an hour of recording just for the Nino Ruins, and so much of this time is just spent with those platforms, just moving the blocks and everything. It's all so slow. And we return to normal speed because Claymore asked us to wait, and we rudely left. So he's kind of pissed.
I thought I told you to wait. I didn't think you'd gotten this far. A little more, and I would have lost you. Okay then. Ready for another round?
So he does have a few more mechanics in this fight, but I'm just gonna skip past most of those by hitting him with my homing missiles. Like that thing that follows you, I'm like, oh, okay. If it's still there, I don't know. But he sure takes a lot of damage from my homing missiles, and I saved him for the most part. So you can just kind of eat homing missiles, you know. Those red things track you as well, but
you're pretty strong, aren't you? That's a big gun you've got, but it's not enough to hurt me. You kids today think you're so hot? Well, there's still some fight left in this old man. My back. Ow, 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 ow. I can't move. Help me. Somebody, help me.
I thought I was supposed to be your partner, not your nursemaid. We're willing to call it a draw if you are, boy. Come on, Claymore, let's go.
Oh, if it weren't for my back, I'd have wiped up the floor with them, I tell you.
Yeah, whatever you say.
I mean, I kind of kicked both of their asses, and he's just like, nah, I would have won if I didn't snap my back there at the end. And I'm just like, thank God I'm out of there. I went to check if the guildmaster had anything to say, but no, he just says, oh, you can go into the ruins whenever you like. And that's I figured there'd be something for finishing it, but apparently not. Maybe not until I turn the key in, I'm not sure. But that is where I'm going to end this one, because I found this quite painful.